All right, so if you have a pattern that is asking you to use layer cakes, but you have yardage, here's how I would work the math. And I don't know the pattern you're working off of, but here's how I would do it. So let's use some of our brand new Tulip Pink that just arrived, and I will explain. So off of the bolt right here, you're gonna get about 40 inches or so, depending on if you have a 42-inch fabric or a 44-inch fabric, because you have to account for the selvage also, because you're gonna cut this off. So I always estimate about 40 inches. Layer cakes are 10 by 10. So you should be able to get 4 out of this. So I would measure over 10 inches and cut that, and I will get 4 of this one. So now for layer cakes are 10 by 10, like I said, and there are 42 of them. And depending on the collection, you might have a different number of types of prints. So for instance, this one is splendid and there are 21. So that means that each of those prints is in there twice. But if we look at a different one, My Valentine, this doesn't have 21, this has 19. So some of those prints will be in there twice and some of them will be in there 3 times. So we also have a pattern that is made for layer cakes. There's 2 different ways to lay it out. But just because of that reason, I wrote on the back, you can have 36 of those layer cake blocks or 2/3 a yard of 6 different colors. Because I know people have different kinds of fabric in their stash, or they are just attracted to a different kind of fabric and they want to buy it, and maybe it's in a layer cake, maybe it's not. So I guess depending on how many different fabrics you want to have in your quilts, maybe get more fabric and just cut a few 10-inch squares out of that. Maybe you can get like 1/3 of a yard is 12 inches. So maybe you get 1/3 of a yard of a whole bunch of different fabrics. And then that way you can get 10 inches, you can get 4 out of each of those 1/3 of a yards. Or maybe you just want to have it kind of simple. And so you get like 4, maybe 5 different kind of fabrics and you cut 10-inch rows off of that because each of those rows is going to give you 4. So you're going to have to do a little bit of math, but I hope that explains it. If you have any other questions, I'm happy to answer.